Welcome back, everybody, to the collection. Obviously, this is part 2 of the Game Boy Advance. And in this part, we're going to be talking about what else other than the games. But before I get to the cartridge games, let's go with the unconventional means. And here, in that case, it would be the e-reader. Now, Nintendo's tried out a bunch of different things in their past. The Virtual Boy obviously being my favorite, but I guess the thing that fell apart the quickest. However, this is one thing that really had potential for what they showed at the beginning, but just never kicked off. Now, obviously, as you can see here, I have a bunch of random cards sitting around. The e-reader would simply scan barcodes from the cards that you slid right through this slot, and the information would get transferred to the Game Boy, and it would all be put together. Now, in some cases, that would be as simple as, let's say for Super Mario Advance 4, here we go, you get your blue-green switch. You simply slide this barcode through, and it would unlock this in the game. It would make whatever changes were going to happen. Here's one for, what is it? A level card. Slide that through, and you instantly get sent to that level. Simply that, or you'd get like different suits and stuff. I think I have one for the Tanuki suit. Yeah, there it is, right there on the bottom. Get your Tanuki suit. Woo! So that was one thing that they did with it. Another thing, really offhand here, since cards are still a big deal, they even got Pokemon cards. Not so much this one. This came with one of the games. It was simply a way to get to battle another trainer. However, not the energy either. For a short time, they made Pokemon cards with this little e-reader symbol at the bottom, and the code, obviously. And once you slid that through, is this Makuhita? If you slid that through, your advance would actually work as like a Pokedex. It'd bring up information on the character, the card information, and it was just kind of a new, odd thing, but for people who were really into the game, obviously, you know, sliding the card, there you go. Now you feel like you're more part of it because you have your own Pokedex in your hand. Then they went off on another thing and tried to make little side games. As you can see, this has the Pokedex information at the bottom that has barcodes on the side, much like the Super Mario Advance games. Or Advance cards, whatever. Pretty much, if you had this entire series, you'd slide them all through, and you would unlock minigames. Now, going on to minigames, well, you know what, forget. We have the games down here. Now, each game that you would buy would contain 5 cards. You'd slide all 5 of them through, and you'd get to play the full version of that game. So they had old Nintendo games like Balloon Fight, Tennis, Donkey Kong Jr., Excite Bike, and Pinball. Then they also put out the little e-reader Game & Watch collection. All you need is one of these cards, you slide both sides through, and there you go, you unlock the full game of it. Kind of a better way of getting stuff out there and kind of making it like a collector's thing, but it just never caught on. And the final part of it is you have the Mario Party card game. Came with your own mat, instruction manual of how to play it. And this I only played, I think, one time with a friend. But it was kind of stupid. You go through and obviously you're playing like Mario Party games. You have all your characters here, and then you could throw down like the challenge cards. Like there's Big Boo. Slide that through and then you unlock a challenge, and it would basically, yeah, it's Mario Party. You either know it by now or you don't. But those were all just kind of like an interesting look at another idea Nintendo had that didn't really take off. I'm glad to have those all in my collection. Let's move on here before I spend too much time on the e-reader, and let's go to, trying to clean up a little bit, go on to the games themselves. First up here I have GT Advance. Basic racing game, not really much to say about it. Then we have the other racing game, Mario Kart Super Circuit. Gotta love Mario Kart games, always fun, especially to connect to friends and try and beat their ghost times. Coming up next, we have Mega Man Battle Network 5. What is this? Team Proto Man. Let's see, Battle Network would be the last series that came out before. I think they're on, I don't know, they're on something now where it's the real world, but whatever. And we have my next my incomplete series. I actually haven't even picked this up yet, but they recently re-released all four, well, these 3 games and number 2, which I'm obviously missing, as the Mega Man Zero Collection. However, I haven't picked that up, and I haven't found a decent copy of Mega Man Zero 2 yet, so my collection remains incomplete. As you can see, I got 0, 03, and 04. Killed a lot of time back in high school with these games, lots of fun to play, and an actual challenge. Then we have Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Not really going to say much about that. Think Super Mario RPG, but pocket size. Then we have pinball theme, Mario Pinball Land. Lots of crazy stuff. Obviously, you hit around a ball that's in the shape of Mario's head. Then, what Game Boy collection doesn't include Pokemon games? Got Pokemon Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, and for the first time in the series, I only picked up Leaf Green. I did not bother getting the other Fire Red. Amazingly, I never did that before in the past, but funny thing is, I had Ruby Red stolen from me, or not Ruby Red, I had Ruby stolen from me. The idiot didn't even bother resetting the game, and then he pretty much said he felt sorry that I was missing mine, and he went out and got me a copy of the game. Complete bullshit. He erased my game that was already on there. Pissed me off even more, but got my game back. Then we have Sonic Advance, pretty much your regular 2D side-scrolling game. Just like the original Sonic, but for the Advance. And then Sonic Battle, where you pick from a few characters and beat the hell out of each other. Kind of like a Smash Brothers, but on a much smaller scale. Here we have the Super Mario series. You got Super Mario Advance, which is essentially Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario World, called Advance 2. Advance 3 is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. And then they go back to whatever. Super Mario 3, which is Super Mario Advance 4. They also came out with the e-reader cards for that. Continuing on, we have Zelda, A Link to the Past, the Super Nintendo game re-released as the Advance, and they included the 4 swords on there. Then we have one of Blue Starry Eyes games here, The Sims Bustin' Out. Haven't played it myself, so I don't know what to say to that one. She's actually right outside the door taking a break from her 360. Hi! Here we also have Tony Hawk's Underground and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Used to be big time games. Tron 2.0 Killer App, because I'm a Tron fan and simply followed it. Then we have Wario Land 4, still continuing even after the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and Virtual Boy game. And then 2 games from my favorite anime series of all time, Yu Yu Hakusho Spirit Detective and Yu Yu Hakusho Tournament Tactics. As you can see, that actually covers all of my Advance and Advance SP collection, as well as what Blue Starry Eyes still has. Say hi. Hello. Anyway, hope everybody has enjoyed looking at all this. I know I kind of sped through there. I didn't think I had enough to make it into a 3rd video. So, hope everyone has a good time, and keep on...